Just continue to be consistent. Trying to be better. We still feel like we can improve on the defensive end and the way that we execute on offense too. So we had a really good focus film session.
When you're this close to closing the team out, how much of a challenge is it to not get too anxious, too excited about the prospect of moving on?
I think our focus just has to be on the game tomorrow and making sure that we're prepared for that, and we can't look ahead. We still have a task at hand, and I felt like we came out with great purpose last game, and we need to try to do the same tomorrow.
Are there any lessons you guys can take away from that Sixers series last year? You guys were up 3-0 going into Game 4 in their building with a chance to close it out.
Oh yeah, no question about it. I think this is just we have this is our second time going around as a group for the most part, and our guys, we all know what to expect and how we need to come out and compete.
What's the thing that needs to be different in that scenario? If you're saying you learn from that going into this one tomorrow?
Just our focus. Our focus level needs to be very high, like it was Game 3, and understanding that they're a team that plays hard regardless of the situation. We have to be able to match that intensity.
A couple of guys have said they use the playoffs as kind of a reset button after the regular season. What does that mean to you, and how have you seen that impact?
Well, I think it's great, for our group because, we can't let what happened in the regular season, define who we are as a group. And we all have a great opportunity here in the postseason. So I think the guys are just trying to take advantage of this opportunity.
Does the fact that you guys came in here last night and won the first playoff road game, does that tell you that there's something a little different right now, just in terms of the way you guys sort of take care of business?
Yeah, I think that the focus is much better, and obviously this year having Kyrie and Gordon, that just makes a big difference for us. We have a year more of experience with this group.
Al, what do you think playing against this Pacers team in particular has maybe brought out of you guys?
I think, really focusing on, attention to detail, especially on the defensive end, understanding actions and the way that we need to guard things, and how locked in we have to be on the defensive end, because this is the type of team that you make mistakes, they make you pay for it, and they did yesterday. And then when we corrected it, we were much better.
The difference that you touched on a second ago with Kyrie and Gordon, what jumps out to you about just what they're bringing to the table that's maybe a little bit different and unique from where you guys had last year?
Well, obviously Kyrie has experience, his ability to make plays and create for himself and others, and Gordon bringing in that those last few weeks of the season were very good for him. I feel like just bringing him that aggressiveness on offense, being very, very assertive, and getting back to kind of his old self again. So that's encouraging to see.
Well, I know you're not looking ahead, but at the same time, if the ultimate goal is to get out of the East here, and how physical these games are, to be able to close out, play one less game, take one less toll off your body in that regard, is that important to this team? What does that do?
Yeah, I just think that our focus is just on tomorrow. So we can't look ahead. I just think that it's just really come in locked in and do what we need to do, and compete and hopefully get that win tomorrow.
How would you evaluate how physically you guys have been during this series as compared to maybe where you were, fluctuating throughout the regular season?
Well, I just think it's different. I think that we're playing bigger for a lot of the time. So having Baines out there with me probably allows us to be more physical. So just by that lineup change, that's what happens.
Al, have you ever seen somebody take a foul to yell at a ref like Gordon did last night?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, you got to be pretty mad about a call.
Yeah, no. He was right too.
Brad said last night he thought, starting with the practice before the regular season Indy game, you guys have really been getting back to basics at practice, and he thought that's been really important. What has that entailed for you, and what kind of value have you seen in that recently?
Well, the thing is practice time. We haven't really had a chance to practice much once the season really got going. So those days preparing for Indiana were beneficial for our groups. Kind of a refresher of the way that we want to do things and how we want to be on the defense.
How the closing lineup you've used the last 2 games is the original starting lineup. Do you have a sense why it's working better now than maybe it did out of the gates?
I mean, I just think it was probably a lot of high expectations and a lot of pressure at the beginning of the year. I think that we've been through a year together. We understand, what we need to do on the floor, how we need to play, and I'm happy to be able to see, all of us together out there playing together.
Was that frustrating that group sort of got so much flack, even though?
No, I just think that we all needed to understand how we needed to play, and it took changing the lineup for most of the year, and I think that everyone understands what they need to do at this point.
Seems that when you guys finally started putting together, it seemed the guys were really understanding and kind of embracing whatever role they needed to play to help this team win. As a guy who's been in the league for a while, I'm sure over time you embrace that. But for young guys, how challenging do you think that has been for them to kind of embrace this role of sacrificing before they've kind of established who they are in this league?
Yeah, it has to be challenging, but at the same time, I'll say to that they, I think they realize the opportunity they have in front of them, and they're very fortunate to be in a team that's trying to win a championship, and they're still playing, and that their play matters, and they can have an impact. So that's the way they have to look at it, and learn from these experiences, and they'll all have long NBA careers, and these opportunities don't come by very often.
Thank you.